I have wanted to be hands-on with the King Seiko for a while now, since they made their return back in 2022 with the KSK. So when I had King Seiko in my inbox asking if there was anything I wanted to review, this was at the top of my list. This is the King Seiko VANAC, and I've got the reference SLA083, aka the purple one. And after being hands-on, it's really helped me understand the DNA of King Seiko, the unique positioning they are carving out for themselves within the Seiko group, and I think they're doing something really special. If you're new here, my name is Brittany, and on this channel we just talk all things watches, cheap watches, expensive watches, whatever I can get my grubby little hands on. As I said before, I got this in from the fabulous people over at King Seiko, and hopefully we can get in more watches to review. I was saying to them there's a distinct Seiko gap in my catalog, and that's just because I haven't been hands-on with enough pieces and haven't been able to film enough, so hopefully we can change that. Now, there are two things I really want to talk about with this. For one, the design, and King Seiko kind of solidifying their design identity, and two, the movement. The new 8L is genuinely fantastic and hopefully going to find its way into more models. That's not insider information, I just think this movement is awesome and would love to see it in more models. Let's start with number one, the design, and this is striking on all fronts. I feel like this won't be for everyone, and that's okay. The more broad appeal, broad reaching watch is the KSK, but the VANAC is a deep track. The case is incredibly angular, almost architectural feeling and interesting. It has a combination of brushed and polished surfaces that play with the light in such a fun way, and it feels very Japanese. Like, there's a very specific way that a Grand Seiko feels. And the King Seiko doesn't feel exactly the same, but it has a similar thing going on. The bracelet makes me very happy, lovely taper that carries on with the mirror and hairline finishing and wraps perfectly to the wrist. Butterfly clasp, so no micro adjustment, boo, but still a very, very lovely bracelet. Looking at the dial, this is what really steals the show for me, so a very deep purple, which takes inspiration from the evening twilight in Tokyo, with horizontal lines, adding in texture and gold accents. One thing I wish was different is the indices. In my perfect world, it would be applied indexes in keeping with the heritage models, but the dial still offers a lot of depth, so perhaps it was a conscious change. One of the biggest reasons I wanted to get this in, it was the biggest reason, is because of the name VANAC being revived. So this is from the King Seiko archives, and it's a pretty weird vintage gem, and the 1970s was just a weird time. The case construction is blocky, the dials are weird and bold. Like, these were and are odd, especially compared to many vintage Japanese watches that were far more conservative. These were a very short run, very distinct, and mark a very interesting era and time of experimentation for Seiko. I think a lot of people probably won't get it or find it too blocky, but I think it's a really faithful tribute to this awesome era. I am super interested in a vintage VANAC. They are pretty accessibly priced, especially for a short production run 70s watch, but I don't want the headaches that come with vintage watch ownership, and the water resistance isn't the best. And that's where this comes in. It doesn't feel like a recreation, but the continuation. I think it is a bold move for them to continue on with the VANAC, and shows that they are wanting to experiment. Looking at the specifications, this has a case diameter of 41 millimeters, a thickness of 14.3 millimeters, oosh, and a lug-to-lug of 45 millimeters, although this barely has lugs, and you definitely feel that when wearing. For reference, here it is on my 5.5-inch wrist versus my husband's 7-inch wrist. Once again, because the lugs are built into the case, it is surprisingly small wrist friendly. I would normally shy away from 41 millimeters, but I think this works. Kinda cool and oversized on me, and I think it's just right on my husband's 7-inch wrist. I would wear this casually, jeans and a t-shirt, or even as a sexy weekend watch, going out to get drinks in a leather jacket. Ooh. Now I just need the invites. Keeping on with the specifications, this has a lot of the things I look for. So a stainless steel material, 100 meters of water resistance, and a box-shaped sapphire crystal. Next big exciting thing, the movement. Visible through the sapphire case back is the new 8L45. The 8L family is essentially Grand Seiko calibers with less decoration and a lower accuracy tolerance. The Grand Seiko equivalent of the 8L45 is the 9S65. The 8L45 has 72 hours of power reserve and an accuracy of +10, -5 seconds a day. Something notable as well is the thickness of the movement. Sitting at 6 millimeters tall, it is certainly a factor in the overall thickness of the watch. For comparison, the ETA 2824-2 has a 4.6 millimeter height. The Sellita SW200 is the same at 4.6 millimeters, but these have a much lower power reserve and inferior accuracy. So it's a trade-off, and it depends on what's important to you. So there's another big reason why I wanted to get the VANAC through, and that is what it communicates about King Seiko and the overall brand positioning and the audience they are trying to capture. So if we look at modern Seiko Group, you could think of Seiko as the most accessible, but still creating incredibly reliable, well-made watches from entry level to more premium. Grand Seiko is the luxury end, focusing on exceptional craftsmanship, hand-finished components. But I feel like King Seiko kind of bridges these worlds together, being a more premium offering than Seiko, especially targeting enthusiasts, but not as high-end as Grand Seiko. And they seem to focus on heritage models and creating the modern iteration of watches from their archives. This could be controversial to say, and I'm sure I will hear about it in the comment section if it is, but I wonder if King Seiko will serve as an experimentation ground for Grand Seiko, almost like what Tudor is for Rolex. King Seiko might become a place where they try out different things, focus on heritage models, and maybe get a little funky with it, like Tudor. Once again, no one has told me that information. That's just me speculating, because I think it's fun to do. Also, really quickly, I do need to acknowledge that I do know the history between King Seiko and Grand Seiko and the Seiko Sha factories. I'm only choosing to omit it from this video because I'm making possibly a bigger video on it. So we will be talking about it probably at length, but you don't need to comment. See, she knows nothing. So to close us off, here's what I like and what I don't like. Let's start with the good. Let's start with what I like. Number one, I like that they have specifically chosen to create the modern interpretation of the VANAC. I think if you're into vintage, you will think it's such a cool choice. And like I've already said, I would love to own a vintage model. Don't want all the stuff that comes with vintage. This is awesome. This is perfect. It's a really cool choice, and I think it is particularly exciting for vintage Japanese watch lovers. Number two, and this one will be controversial, but I kind of like that they kept the blocky design of the original. There's a lot of sleek watches out there. I think it's intentional and it's cool. Number three, the dial is amazing. I would expect nothing less from Seiko, Grand Seiko, King Seiko. You need to see it in person to fully appreciate it, but it's very well done. Number four, bracelet, taper, yes, more of this Seiko group. And number five, the movement. It is exciting that they're creating new, more accurate movements. It's a big deal, and hopefully we see the 8L45 rolled out on more watches. Now, I have yet to find the perfect watch. There's always little nitpicks. For one, I wish they kept the applied indexes. I feel like the case is so angular. I would have loved to see the same architectural feeling and depth carry out onto the dial. And two, butterfly clasp almost always means no micro adjustment. It's one of those little details that goes a long way. It's always a little bit tricky with the butterfly clasp. A lot of enthusiasts don't like this clasp style. I am controversially a defender of them. There's something so elegant and sleek about not having the fold over clasp and just folding on the sides, but also micro adjustment rocks. There's a trade-off, not sure if it's worth it. Now, I can't not talk about the price. I'm building this its own section because I think other people will feel stronger about this than I do. This retails for £2,900, so just under £3,000, which is a lot of guacamole. I would say this is accurately priced. I wouldn't say it's the deal of the century, but I wouldn't say it's a ripoff either. I think it is well priced. It's a really great watch, interesting case and design, lots of angles and polishing, brand new mechanical movement, and I think that comes with a higher price. I would say this is accurately priced, but I know we're going to hear about that in the comments. Anyways, guys, those are just some of my thoughts on the King Seiko VANAC. I'd love to know what you think in those comments down below. Let me know. Do you think it's weird? Do you think it's awesome? Do you like the vintage models? Hopefully more King Seiko videos to come. I've really enjoyed having this. And now, Pope Tier patrons, get their names on the screen. Hello, Pope Tier patrons. Yes, these are my favorite videos to make. I love making watch reviews, and thank you so much to you guys. I hope you enjoy them as well. Thank you for supporting my weird little channel. I hope you keep enjoying the content we make here. I love making it. I love shooting watches. I love talking about watches. It's so awesome. You're so awesome. You keep the lights on here. You keep this channel a financially viable thing for me to do. So thank you so much.